Peterborough Volunteer Fire Station is a unique fire station, not just for Cambridgeshire, but for the UK. Its crew of dedicated firefighters are volunteers. They do not get paid and give their service for free. We've come to get a behind-the-scenes look at how the station operates, hosted by Chief Fire Officer Anthony Gould. We'll take you around the appliance, through the station's history and how the service functions.
I'm Station Commander Anthony Gould. I've been in the Peterborough Volunteer Fire Brigade since 2012, so that's about 13 years, give or take. I'm also the Chief Fire Officer of Peterborough Volunteer Fire Brigade. We're a brigade in our own right, and we work alongside Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue Service. We're an independent fire brigade. We currently have 10 volunteers, and they are completely voluntary. They don't get paid a penny for their services. We attend around about 400 calls a year. The process to become a volunteer fire brigade is very similar to that of any other on-call fire station. They apply to join the on-call fire service online. And we do things slightly different here. We get the potential recruits to come down every drill night from the moment they start the application. They join in with the crew and the inspection of the vehicle, kit inspections. They just don't do any drills, but they meet the crew. Then they do a suitability meeting, a fitness test, written exams, point of entry test, medical, an interview, and then they go on the next available course. There's 4 on-call recruits courses every year.
Despite being a voluntary fire brigade, Peterborough Volunteer Fire Service is equipped with the latest equipment and technology to respond to incidents, just the same as a regular on-call fire station. As part of our visit to the station, the volunteer crew will showcase their 2015 Scania fire appliance and the specialist equipment they carry with them to incidents.
I'll start at the bottom. We've got our Halmatro pump, which is used for the hydraulic pipes for feeding the spreaders and the cutters. Spreaders, obviously, we use the spreaders for spreading and crushing at RTCs and anything else that we may use them for. We've got some cutters here, which we use for cutting parts of vehicles, and also we've got a ram there for kind of spreading when we're doing dashboard rolls and lifts primarily. We've got a turfer, which is a kind of a manual winch. Turfer and the cable, they come separate on this appliance. We've got various bits of tools. We've got like a standard toolbox with various tools in it. Here we've got the Hilti saw. I couldn't remember what it's called, the Hilti saw, which we use at RTCs and for cutting. Here we've got some impact drivers, which we use. We've got pedal cutters for cutting pedals and small bits of equipment. Some fancy little lights that we use at RTCs. Stab fast, which we use to help stabilise cars if they're upside down or on their sides. We've got a first aid kit, quite a comprehensive first aid kit. Some more RTC stuff, some blocks, and some RTC tools in here. Pack-X, which we use for putting on glass to help keep it together, so when we actually break glass it doesn't go everywhere. Hoses I've mentioned. We've got some lights, some dragon lights for scene. Here we've got our default firefighting equipment, which is our hose reel. And then we've got some lay flat hose, 70mm and 51. And back here we've got a monitor, ground monitor. Here we've got a couple of lights. And this here is it's like a pump. It's a small pump, very similar to an LPP, but a smaller version for pumping out water as smaller incidents. We've got some bariatric equipment here. which we use for helping us extricate large people from buildings, etc. A MIB stretcher, large stretcher, life jackets, or crew savers, as we call them in the fire service. Yep, some throwing lines. So we've got throwing lines in there as well. We've got an inflatable hose there as well.
What's that used for?
So we use that. It's like a length of 70mm hose that is sealed at both ends, and we can inflate, stick in the water to help people in water. Here we've got a pump bay, standard pump, 3 deliveries, 3 inlets. We've got our branches and a short length basket for our LPP. Yep. We've got our entry control board here. Ours is specific to us, which we use for monitoring the BA teams that are inside the building. Obviously got our hydrant, standpipe and key. This is part of that small LPP I mentioned for that, and we've also got a platform here. It's a working platform, which is traditionally used if we're working around an HGV cab. It kind of lifts us up.
So this is our hazmat kit up here. So this is what we'll use when we go into incidents with hazardous chemicals, so fuel spills or radiation, anything like that. Moving down, we have our welfare boxes for the firefighters. When we're on big jobs such as field fires or haystack fires, they can be quite prolonged, so we do like to have a little snack in between. We have our Jafco set here with our beaters. So this is for, again, field fires, any hay fires. We can use the pitchforks to pull the hay apart, break it up and then fight it with more water. Moving down, we have our small gearbox, which carries all the little ancillaries that we may need for hydrants, so different style keys for our key and bars. We've got the high-rise kit with the 2 Cleveland rolled hoses down at the bottom, so they're really handy for taking up to the top of a building, so you don't have to carry a whole length of 51 up with you. You can just kind of sling that over the back of your BA set or your shoulder, take it up and then unravel it in the corridor. It's actually very handy. Moving on to the centre of the appliance, we have the 2 Dutch rolled 51mm hoses. These are our lay flat hoses, so they'll be primarily for fighting bigger fires that we don't really want to use the hose reel for, where we need a bit more water. And we have our 4 70mm hoses, 71mm hoses. They're for mainly hydrants or fighting really big fires like field fires. We can use the ground monitor with that, or the water curtain, so they're really handy. And then we've got our standard hose reel, which is mainly used, most commonly used on the fire appliance, so building fires, car fires, anything like that. Really handy, really easily manoeuvrable, and can deliver quite a lot of water when needed. Moving on to the front of the appliance, we now have our smoke curtain and our salvage sheets. Moving down towards the centre, we've got all of our break and entering tools. So we've got the Halligan bar, our axes, crowbars, loads of stuff. We've got emergency lighting for when we're at an RTT or somewhere that is just quite low visibility. We've got an axe and a sledgehammer, so you never know what you might need when you're at an incident. We then have our LPP, crewed by 4 people, carried, and then that can plug into any external water sources like rivers, lakes, swimming pools, whatever it needs. And we can pull water directly from that, either feed it into our pump or just shoot it out in general and fight fires with this itself. Then we have our little diesel generator, which can be used for various sort of things such as lights, anything that we deem that it might need. And then the hard suction spanners, which will be used for the hard suction pipes on the back of the appliance, which do attach to the LPP. And then moving on to the top right of the locker, we do have our working at height kit and our throwing lines. So we've got a 15-metre line and a 30-metre line. These are really handy for hauling equipment aloft, such as hoses or the sledgehammers that I've previously gone through. We have a working at height kit for when we're going to be up on ladders for an extended period of time. They're really useful. And then we have our chimney kit, so when we have chimney fires, we can pipe that up the chimney, connect it to the hose reels, and then pump water through it and extinguish the fire. And then moving right to the front of the appliance, we have the through locker, where we do carry our ease set and our dog grappler. So that's mainly for animals that are out of control that we need to handle. We don't feel particularly safe to go and actually touch with our hands. And then we have the ease set for any potential breathing apparatus emergencies where people might need rescuing. We can go to them with another BA emergency crew, plug in the ease set for them, and then get them out in ample time. These are our breathing apparatus sets, so we use these when we're going into an irrespirable atmosphere, such as big building fires if we've got to go in to save people, or actually put out the fire itself. We've got our cylinders on the back, we've got our masks here at the top. Luckily on our vehicle, we are able to kind of pair these with where they do need to go. So when we're in, we'll put our BA set on, we'll put our smoke hood on, we'll get our set clipped in, put our mask on, and ready to go. So this is our thermal imaging camera. We use this to find the actual fire itself when in a building, the flow paths of the smoke to lead us towards the fire, any casualties or anything else that might be important, such as the temperature of gas cylinders if they're on fire or near the fire, and anything like that. There's various different settings we can use so we can find hotspots. So this one will show us the actual hottest parts of the room. They'll show up in red. Everything here is quite cold at the moment, so it's not showing up very warm. And then there's loads of different settings. You've got your casualty setting, which will lower the temperature range of the thermal imaging camera itself, and just to show casualties. So if I put my hand in it, that will show nice, and it will glow a little bit more than what's around me, as that's all quite cold.
So this is where the officer in charge of the incident will sit on the appliance, otherwise known as the OIC. And in this seat he has a radio function, which is a main scheme radio, which is to communicate to fire control and other appliances. They also have the MDT, which stands for Mobile Data Terminal. And on here we have maps, status of the appliance, risk functions for specific risks within the city, and chem data for chemical incidents, and information about vehicles, so we can gather that information of an RTC that we go to. They also are denoted of the incident by wearing a tabard, which is an incident commander tabard, and can be reversed to sector commander as and when required.
So this is a Scania P280 crew cab. This is our main frontline appliance. We've had it about 2 years now. So over the head you have the surround information display. So it will tell you if any lockers are open, if the light masts are up, the doors. And it also displays the current hours of the pump. Well, currently it is 971 hours and 7 minutes. Current mileage is about 42,000. On the left you have all the main controls for the lights. So on the way to a call we have the 999 mode. Once we arrive at scene, we just click the arrive at scene button, and that displays all the lights around the fire engine. And you could also auto hose, which will prime the pump to 30 bar, enabling a quick response, getting the hose reels off and get to that fire. All the usual controls of a normal lorry. On the right hand side we have the adjusters for the suspension, so we can either raise it and lower depending on however we need it. We control the sirens and the horn with 2 buttons down here. The blue button activates the sirens, which is controlled with a press on the horn on the steering wheel, and to deactivate it is a double tap on the horn. And we also have our bullhorn and two-tone, which is a button on here.
The Volunteer Fire Brigade was formed in 1884 by a group of local businessmen after they believed the efforts of the local corporation brigade was ineffective following a serious fire at the infirmary. The brigade's motto is "Ready and Willing," which has stood the test of time and carries meaning to present day, which is testified by the crew's dedication to maintaining their history.
Okay, so as well as the operational appliance, we also have the Dennis fire engine behind us. That was operational until, I can't remember the year, but this was an operational fire engine. We now use it more as a prop, really. We go to proms and events with it. It's fully operational. We also have a Land Rover fire engine, and that was operational at Perkins Engines, Baker Perkins, sorry. So that was operational at Baker Perkins. When Baker Perkins shut down, a couple of the guys that were volunteers here worked there. They gave it to us. We relabeled it up as Peterborough Volunteer Fire Brigade, and we take that to shows and events as well. and it's won some awards at some Land Rover events as well.
Peterborough Volunteer Fire Brigade is also a charity. The station does not receive financial support from the local authorities and relies solely on donations. Please consider visiting the linked sites below to support the service and its crew. Every contribution matters.